welcome to another poetry reading at Neat Coffee Bar in Newport Richey, sponsored by our host, Wayne Scott, running for mayor. Vote Wayne! So if you're in the Newport Richey area, if you're local, he supports us as artists, so we're asking you to vote for him. And I'm going to start off the way I start off all of these, as per request from my better half. She said she wanted me to start with excerpts from Lex 4-5, which I wrote in 1999 in New York City. So this one was actually published in Poetry, Life, and Times magazine, and it's called A Wintry Postcard of Manhattan in Motion. Last night, this homeless, needle-eyed buzzard with time-weary, deep-chiseled features, bleak-hovered, shivering, relentless, round warmth of the 86th Street Station's lotto shop. His blue, cold, street-grime fingers printed paper coffee cup and shivering Kaiser roll. So I gifted him my old black winter coat. This morning he nodded mid-makeshift hovel. In under 12 hours, my coat was transfigured, tailored perfect fit to his junk-torn world. The downtown 4 train floats effortlessly this morning, fast neath black plaster peelings of ceiling, ever winding above rat-poisoned third-rail tracks, all warps into backdrop as downtown mountains up. Crescendoing dark scent of hungry ghosted greed as drab-suited Wall Streeters hibernate like bears till New Year's end. Simultaneously, this life-worn Eurotrashed chic eyes me with contemplative melancholy, her scar-marred beauty cracked mirroring our Maiden Lane drama of bleak mediocrity. Okay, and then I'll do one from one of our non-local poets. So this was actually Wayne's idea, was to showcase some non-local talent. And so I put out feelers to some of my friends, and they have answered from far and wide. So T. Mishael is actually from Africa, and he wrote a poem called The Intersection. And actually, I don't know if it's he. He's just T. Michelle. I'm not sure. We've never discussed, it's kind of like a gender-neutral name, so I'm not sure. It's called The Intersection. If there's anything to love about books, it's the open-ended, surrealistic beauty of reality, to be praised but not probed. They tell of twinkly suns above a monastery of songs, and serenaded sommeliers on night shift missions to dazzle tourists. And if there's anything I've learned from them, it's the ever-shifting perspectives on life, how it is the accidental collision of the greats, or a whole giant ball of whiplashes, are books, though the teacher. Or is it life itself? Does life begin at 1,000 feet above wanderlust, or a stone's throw away from its obstinate vagrancy? Are we the undone purposefulness of its need to consume, to be probed but not praised, with every wondrous and weary impulse ricocheting off the stairs of our minds? We climb its asymmetric plains, drained and soiled on a loathsome road we aren't willing to depart from. And under the hypnosis of its hysteria, the nameplates of our Gentile hearts are patched every day until yanked off. We rush head on into its arms and arrive with tons of trigger warnings. For life is ours in every rain-tasted forest, in sickness, sorrow, and ravenous rage, in toils of war and despair, in adverbs, adjectives, and admonishes, in the somersaulting bolts of thunderous heartbeats, the rising tempo and decrescendoing of seasons, the warmth of home holding us through paroled years, We're the remainder of those years, the reminder that life forgives nothing, forgets nothing. So we always hunger for more, because to die is human, but to live, divine. Okay, I'm giving up the floor. You want it, Pam?
Tom, you want to go?
You want to go, Tom? You're more than welcome.
Well, something tells me we're going to have many turns here.
We are going to have many turns here.
So, well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll do one. Since
Great.
you're doing, this is by a Wisconsin poet, the genius Haywood Banks, and it's called The One I Love. I've got a gal with just one eye, no depth of field, but sweet as pie. And I just don't care-o if her vision isn't stereo. To me, she'll always be the tops, my sweet little cyclops. She's the one eye, one eye, one eye. She's the one eye love. She's the one eye with one eye, one eye. She's the one eye love. Now you might wonder what she's thinking, 'cause it looks like she is winking. In arguments I'll yell and cry, but she just can't see the other side. It's worse than it looks, says her mother, 'cause she's blind in one eye, blonde in the other. She's the one eye, one eye, one eye. She's the one eye love. She's the one eye, one eye, one eye. She's the one eye love. Oh, don't dunce out yet. How it happened, she just won't spill. Was it Scissor Sprint or William Tell? The eye got put out and was never found, gone to take a look around. My Columbo cutie, my Popeye pumpkin, Sammy Jr., Sandy Duncan. She's my one eye, one eye, one eye. She's the one eye love. She's the one eye, one eye, one eye. She's the one eye love. Haywood Banks.
Awesome.
Well, since we're on one eyes,
Yeah, go ahead, Pam.
I've got one that I wrote about somebody with one eye.
Really?
I do.
I see that.
Actually, it was a vision first, and then it became.
Yeah.
Okay. It's called Dancing with Shamans, then a Visit from Odin. I was dancing in a shamanic dress with a headdress with horns and skin all around me. Thousands of shamans from all over the world with all kinds of different headpieces adorned. They were all dancing with me. I could feel them wanting me to bring their message into the world through my being with music, dance, poetry, and art, and literature spiraling outwardly, all-encompassing love, love, love. Odin's ship landed upon my shores. I could see a silhouette standing tall, dark above me. With eye patch and crows, he stepped toward me out of a vessel carrying poetry that he gathered from all over the world. That's what he did. He wanted to spread it far and wide, knowing that art, music, poetry, dance all held the secrets and answers for life, which are needed to heal and grow. I felt tiny beneath him. I was worried he might squash me at any moment, but he did not. He merely handed me the poetry, then he sailed off as silently as he came. As he disappeared into the fog, I could hear faintly that Odin kept whispering my name. That was it.
You want a god of poetry.
Yeah. So I was falling asleep, and then I had this vision, and I just shot up and had to write it down. I was like, oh my God.
Did you want to read, Karen?
Yeah, I'll read.
Great, thanks.
I don't have any cliff notes for y'all, but use your imagination. This is my first memory of any Christmas ever. The war is over. The war is over. Who cares about the white cliffs of Dover? Mama and Papa are excited. We will have a real Christmas. No rationing. There will be food and toys galore. Real butter. Tainted oleo, no more. My aunts and uncles will come to celebrate. Aunt May, who is still my fairy godmother. Uncle Harry with a smile, light of foot and canny. This is the Christmas I remember. I am 5 and everything is new and shiny. Aunt May arrives the day before Christmas. The uncles Harry and John with Aunt Mary will arrive on Christmas Day at our front door. Christmas Eve, Mama in the kitchen, getting everything ready for the big day. Aunt May gives me a bath, hears my prayers, puts me to bed, and keeps the monsters at bay. My sister has her own room, so Aunt May and I are sleeping on a divan in the parlor. The tree is in there, tall and mighty, decorated with store-bought ornaments and lights shaped like colorful birds perched on boughs. I go to sleep as the adults carry on with preparations. Much later I wake to darkness. Everything is quiet there. A street light beams through the window, just enough to see the floor below. The tree is no longer bare. Dark shadows create a landscape of hills high and valleys long under our magical tree. I know Santa has come and gone. Aunt May, Santa's been here. Hush, child, it's too early for Santa's visit. No, I see presents. He's been here. Papa from his room, go back to sleep. We'll open the packages in the morning. Poor Papa, I now know he most probably has just gotten to bed himself, he being Santa's biggest elf. In my excitement, I will have it no other way. Everyone gets up, turns on the lights. Mama fixes hot cocoa, coffee, and such. They show me gifts which are mine. I have never seen so much just for me. I have a feeling I do not know, and I begin to cry. It's too much, too much. That's it.
Okay, and is that our universe of readers? Are you guys reading? You got a poem? No? Okay.
Not even a haiku.
Anything
Need
you
an
got?
audience.
It doesn't have to be something that you've written. You can recite someone else, and of course, no pressure either. Okay, so this was from a novel that actually never panned out, and I turned them all into poems. So the would-be novel was called The 36th Parallel. And the 36th Parallel runs through North Carolina. So it's a North Carolina story. And this one is called Hog Killin' Time. Spiraling through dark void, we came to near busted wood fencing. Slop buckets and fly-swarmed rotting carcasses, grunts, ear-piercing squeals, and stink of pig shit set me gagging. Their snorting exhales clouded wintry air, shaking, shivering, hungry, and fearing rifle, mallet, or axe to the back of skull. Saturday, dead of winter, hog killing time. Necks slit ear to ear, mothers, fathers, siblings. Sunday, hung from cold gallows till purply red drains pale. Their fat rendered in iron pots for lard. Hairy carcasses scalded and scraped mid vats of boiling water. Torsos hollowed, packed and salted. Seasoned, then shrouded white and hung mid wood-warmed smokehouse. This where the damned go? Dan answered, every soul is different. This is where Sheriff and Bobby Davis went. Best work on freeing 'em quick, lest y'all end up next to him. His phrasing shivered me. Close peering till I see 2 pink, brown-eyed piglets rooting through mud and slop, getting tousled, mounted, and shit on over and over again. Their high-pitched squeals pierced me, damned if it wasn't them, hexed into this hell, and now they stuck. How to redeem them. Old King Hog grunted while mountain bobbing until he squealed with piercing pain. Christ drove devils into hogs, and they rushed down a steep bank into a lake and drowned. I looked mid piney trees, pig farmer's house and mules, smokehouse, dilapidated barn, and cold running river. My spirit pushed out from chest, led an old sow to rooting neath rickety wood fencing. Pigs scattered. Keep at them. Push and shove with mine till they squealin' round frosty mud at river's edge. They hesitated. I merged my spirit with thorny Christ and drave them into rivers deep, flailing, sinking, giving up the ghost, becoming loosed spirits again. What now? Think. Nah, past mentalizing. Be still. Knowed I am the Lord. Slowed my breathing. In, out, in. I warbled through voided distance. Michael Davis, Robert Lee Davis, y'all has sinned against the light and suffered in this hell of your own conjuring. Is you willing to walk in light amidst the presence of the Lord, or wilt thou be deviled hogs for eternity? Bobby Lee answered, Angel, I want to be washed clean by the blood of the Lamb. Chief falls to knees, praying, Me too, Lord, I repent of my dark ways, redeem me. Y'all wants this no matter the cost? Heads nodded. Dan and me unveiled. Christ knows no colors. A noble black man hexed y'all to hell, and two blacks stand before you, with God's light shining mid their eyes, offering eternal redemption. Y'all wants it still? They wept and gnashed teeth in fervored mental pain. Dan added, Admit your sins before these assembled saints, recounting all evil past, dark ignorance of pig flesh rendered asunder. Light was all that remained, and they was new beings made in God's image, returned to old Salem, babies, lily white and light coffee colored. He made Bobby and the chief anew, for them former things had passed away, and these saints cried, Hallelujah. Okay, so I've got another non-local poet. This is a friend of mine. His name is Eric Daniel Herman, and he's from Alaska. So not the other side of the world, but still pretty far away. It's called The Face of Murder. 1. Okay, my apologies, I don't speak Latin. 1. Et ignotius anima ditidum in artes. You and I read puzzling pages where Zeno tore the fabric of our pink paper brains, and within that spookiness of waves and particles, in silence we shattered as billiard balls after the breaking dawn of timeless days. Falling dusk saw the owl of Minerva spread Athena's wings in apricot shades, as the gray veil of yesterday was torn asunder and washed anew in the thundering unveiling of shadows cast by hollow frames. I traced the footsteps of my existence along countless newspaper article lines, only to find that I had been blind, a test tube baby born and raised in Plato's cave, where my gaze had been hypnotized by shadow puppets, mesmerized by cheap tricks, and victim of the military industry's projectile gimmicks, facing eviction into perpetual neoliberal hell with groundhog Minsky moments. 2. Entrefdung. Looking up at the clouds, contemplating death and Irish airmen, as I lay on my back in a dusty paddock where cattle once roamed, before being sent to the slaughter, when suddenly I was yanked back into reality with a violent urgency, demanding that I disclose the price of fish. My internal integration turned schizophrenic, asking what the price per head to attend the Sermon on the Mount Beatitudes could have been. And were the fish locally caught in the Lake of Galilee? The only certainty was that Adam Smith baked the bread, infecting the loaves with leprosy. Okay, now we're speaking Italian. 3. La Divina Comedie, La Vita Nova.
Comedy of New Life.
The sapphire eyes of the children of men turned to a cold, hard steel. Their zigzag, skipping, and hopscotch dancing shifted into stiff, uniformed, rhythmic marching by de rigueur as a segment of the fragmented Groundhog Days. Amphetamine pills melt smiles like a urine-soaked watercolor painting. The playground artists are shackled by forms and straitjacket classrooms designed for a caged parrot instead of a songbird with an amputated larynx. Turning and turning has led to scrolling and scrolling in an ever-narrowing gyre, with the second coming delayed for a worthy people when Pharisees see the setting sun and burn in the fire of their making. The long hand and short hand revolve in an infinite circuit. There are highbrow and lowbrow hands, all pointed at the gyrating face of the weeping Jeremiah. We have killed God and will do it over and over again until the end. Okay, so you have non-local poets, right?
I think he's next.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Tom.
Let's go in order.
There's plenty of time.
So I was trying to get a fly, and you know,
Oh, I thought it was good. 'Cause
Was it-
It sounded like he was summoning something, you know?
Well,
so-
I thought it was from my Roman Catholic upbringing. I thought that read Latin, and then there had to be a gong or chimes or bells or something.
It was like the Omen movie. It was great.
I'm staying still for that one.
It kind of worked out.
It did.
Anyway, this is a few of mine. Barroom Aphrodite. This is an ADD poem for short attention spans. Draped into a casual, well-practiced pose, Aphrodite reigns atop her barstool throne, covertly judging mortal men by how long she holds their gaze. That's it.
Nice, brevity.
Even shorter one. Life and Death, another ADD poem. You lifted your linen dress, revealing the source of life. We made love like all else was death.
Nice.
And my last one for here. It's called When I Die. When I die, my atoms will come apart, and once again I will be stardust. The wind will scatter me like dandelions in spring across the universe. Part of me will form new humans and majestic oaks. Part of me will ride the solar winds to stars yet unseen. I'll be quasars, nebulae, spinning planets and alien moons. And part of me will drift like autumn leaves and land in your chicken soup.
I'm gonna check my soup. Where are you?
Oh, just don't eat chicken soup.
I like chicken soup.
You're up.
Yeah, okay, so I have some non-local poets. And I have two dudes and a lady. And so ladies first. This is Bernadette Newton from the UK, and it's
No,
called
Sydney, Australia.
Sydney. Oh, she's from Sydney, Australia?
Bernadette, yeah.
Right, okay, Sydney, Australia. I was thinking, so I have two from Sydney.
Yeah, John Chesterton is an Englishman living in
Okay.
Sydney,
Bernadette Newton from Sydney, Australia.
my co-host.
Your co-host. Okay, can I go now?
Yeah.
All right. Anything
Maybe.
else? Okay.
Sure.
Entwined dowry. Mandarins peek through the spindly branches and entwine dowry. That decomposes on the forest floor for worms to make a home. And fertilize once barren land, you carved sap from the bark in the shape of insignia. Initials burn below the surface of the once flourishing fruit trees that were picked by the ringtail possums. Our lives are overthrown by overgrowth that insidiously climbs towards the diffused light of the sun. Very good.
Bernadette.
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 And I'm gonna read something that I wrote called Biting Through. As soon as I find it. Biting through. It's time for me to bite through to the truth, cracking the situation open like a bone between my teeth. Using the power of my diviner to open up the smooth surfaces of things and penetrate to their very essence. Being content with appearances may be easier, but it's no longer enough. Dealing with obstacles as I would something tough in my food. I bite and gnaw my way through until my teeth meet. It will help you to use the determination of my inner investigator or judge intent on restoring my world to good order. I am one who will let nothing stand between them and the truth. A drum mounted on a pole suggests centrality and balance, as well as the vibrations that carry all through inner space and time. Within a character hungry for truth, kin to bird's claw over a child, which suggests the mother bird protecting her young. It also means confidence that the sincerity that inspires it within my very core. With absolute presence and concentration, creating a true connection to all there is, the very present truth vibrates through my heart like a drumbeat. I apprehend it directly as an inner of my center, open me up to listen and resound with the intention of committing. My inner truth will naturally move me towards exciting new landscapes as the inner hollow of a boat would carry one across the water. Staying true to my understanding by carrying through into proper action, translating the moment of insight into responsiveness as a constant way of living. I open myself up to the universe. Use my soul for the highest good. That's it.
You're back on? Huh?
Back on? Okay. Okay, so I've got another one that was published in Poetry, Life, and Times, and it's from the 90s, from 1993, called Crack Houses of Venice. And in memorizing this dream while still dreaming it, so that upon instant of awakening, none of its texture shall be lost, of bringing her to contractual climax and warm cloaking in her vulnerability, as the love songs turn mid this sea of teen that await their plastic straw turn to coat long back of their throats with the numbing drip, drip of the Mayan rock goddess Cocaina, who lays in state atop this fragmented mirror of truth, till the blue coats rush in, scattering old cabals to four corners, and one ends lost in crack-housed Venice, lumbering down danger streets, searching for Santa Monica Boulevard and faintest hopes of home.
I got one.
You got, okay, well,
Yeah?
after Richard's.
I didn't know you were done.
Oh,
Keep
no.
going, keep
Oh,
going,
yeah, I
keep
thought
going.
you had another one. That's okay.
Yeah, okay. So this one I wrote for, I think it's called World Ocean Day last year, and it's called Mother Ocean. Marry land-washed seashell to ear and hear, this whole ocean in miniature, reverberations of her salty voice as drowned Phoenician sailors breathe last gasp, swallowed whole like Jonah for fish meat, with vain prayers for deliverance. Old red tide rolls in, out. Now, with even and full moon, the ocean spits her seaweed foam, as dawn's fishermen cast thin lines from this, our dying shore, praying for abundance. Drowned sailors always knew what pearl divers and sponge dock hawkers bragged, how time and tide wait for no man, though Davy Jones patient waits below, beyond this sea storm's briny wake. Mother Ocean is our God. She blasphemes long and hard of tideless tides and sailing songs, of pirates and man's pride. We kick and scream against her death and all the truth we've found, till human voices like proof rock wake us, and at last we drown. Okay.
You're on, please. Okay. In keeping with the theme of non-local poets, this is Skibbereen by the Dubliners. O father dear, I ofttimes hear you speak of Erin's Isle, her lofty hills, her valleys green, her mountains rude and wild. They say she is a lovely land, wherein a saint might dwell. So why did you abandon her? The reason to me tell. O son, I loved my native land with energy and pride, till a blight came o'er the praties, my sheep, my cattle died. My rent and taxes went unpaid, I could not them redeem, and that's the cruel reason why I left old Skibbereen. Oh, well do I remember that bleak December day, the landlord and the sheriff came to take us all away. They set my roof on fire with their cursed English spleen. I heaved a sigh and bade goodbye to dear old Skibbereen. Your mother too, God rest her soul, fell on the stony ground. She fainted in her anguish, seeing desolation round. She never rose, but passed away from life to a mortal dream. She found a quiet grave, my boy, in dear old Skibbereen. And you were only 2 years old, and feeble was your frame. I could not leave you with my friends, for you bore your father's name. I wrapped you in my coat of moor in the dead of night unseen. I heaved a sigh and bade goodbye to dear old Skibbereen. O father dear, the day will come when in answer to the call, all Irish men of freedom stern will rally one and all. I'll be the man to lead the band beneath the flag of green, and loud and clear we'll raise our cheer, revenge for Skibbereen.
I like your reading style.
Thank you. I'm just copying you all. That's a good example.
So you have another non-local?
I do.
You got another one?
Oh,
no,
sit
down,
No,
Tom.
no, go.
Oh, okay.
Keep following the theme. Non-local.
Another Sydney, Australia. John Chesterton.
Chesterton.
Okay.
Here, yep, perfect.
There you go. Yeah.
Thunderstorm in Sydney. A single raindrop banished from the swirling crowd draws needle's breath and tumbling from paradise to solid ground. Blind flurries hurling down upon the fearless crowd. City trains upon their dusty window pane, the haunting melody of rain. Squealing braids strummed by thunderous rapture and applause, the rumbling silence feign. Underneath the harbor bridge, the speeding heart restrain, the reason and compassion, and where's my stream of consciousness regain? Dancing in the madness, the lightning and the rain. To parch earth the dam and maddened cry, a carnival of passion, a weep for sudden joys and loss. Here in a single spell or season say goodbye. Gliding on the currents in the stratosphere, above lofty cloud I fly, where city life is motionless, burden of welcome heart and nothing left to fear. Let sudden clouds break open on the desert plain, mere paradise to bush, rhapsody of summer rain. Underneath the harbor bridge, pour down on me again.
Nice.
Very good, John Chesterton. What?
You should read it with a British accent.
Yeah, he's actually an Englishman living in Australia. Right.
Maybe a southern one.
We were here the other day, and Wayne had asked my daughter Kenzie about, in your dad's poetry, and she said, yeah, but it's sort of hard to hear him talk about my mom this way. So with that in mind,
We were prepared.
an ex-wife poem, another ADD one. A condescending sigh, the outward sign, your generous tolerance of lesser souls. This one's called Debris. She slowly swept our kitchen floor. The debris pile grew. Unspoken words, unshared thoughts, unsung moments. And since I wasn't here for Valentine's Day, a Valentine's poem to my dear ex. To the one who became my wife, marrying you screwed up my life. The way our love and passions flow, we should have been on the Springer Show. Loving, kind, intelligent, sexy, hot, words that describe everything you're not. Now my feelings for you no words can tell, except for maybe go to hell. I remember, though, your pretty face and eyes. Too bad about your big fat thighs. Still, I see your face when I'm dreaming. That is why I wake up screaming. And maybe to counteract that misogyny, a couple couplets here. Another, a Valentine's Day couplet. It feels so good, it feels so right, but I have to return to my wife tonight. And my last one.
Oh yeah, that's your last one, buddy.
No, yeah. This is a Valentine's Day poem for when you get to be my age. It's hard to induce a woman to sin while trying to hold your stomach in. I'm done.
One more.
Right, Stephen, right?
That's good. You're
Stephen,
just
yes.
being
Yeah,
honest
New York
and
City.
vulgar.
This is from New York.
Yeah, woo!
Woo! Stephen Visentainer. Visentainer.
Yes.
Visentainer?
Yeah, Byzantine.
Visentainer. Okay, I suppose. In the simple language, to my cousins Lenny and Walter, we had nothing to do, so we skipped rocks across ponds and created circled magic as if by a wave of a wand. There really wasn't anything to do, so we walked around the shadowed green algae of swamps and looked for camouflage frogs or the rare nestled turtle by the decaying floating log. There really wasn't nothing to do up there, so we climbed small hills with childlike focus and threw flint stone chips at grasshoppers and locusts and glimpsed the flail of feathers where the sparrows once sat. Nothing, so we swam in lakes under noon's wake, climbed our shoulders to boulders a-splash. With that seemed a whole life to spare. There was nothing up there. So we'd fish for bluegill and bass among water spiders and reed, the snow of dandelion seed, trees of full leaf, bound by the sound of cicada and the songs of birds gala, the adult in us absent and unaware.
Nice.
That was beautiful. Okay, I have one that I wrote to somebody that ticked me off. So, it's called Hey. Let me find it. Hey, I don't know what to do. You had nothing. Now that we're together, I've given you all I possibly can. You're encompassed in love, yet you only look at what you lack. Always guilting me with your eyes. Is our friendship built on lies? I give you this, but you wanted that. Your belly once skinny is now plump, round, but not fat. Grateful hearts can go a long way. It makes all the difference between if I go or I stay. Drop the attitude, it doesn't fly. Love shouldn't feel bad or make you cry. We share this life together, so don't be a hog. You're my best buddy and my friend. You're not just my dog. For Redbow, one cool dog with a heart of gold but an attitude of steel.
Okay. So I'm done with printed. I ran out of printing paper.
Oh, I've got
If you have the internet.
the internet. Hold on.
Oh, you got another one?
Gotta get to all poetry.
Yeah.
Did you, what do you mean? Do you have printed ones?
I don't have any more printed poetry.
Or you say you don't have any poetry?
Oh, I got poetry on the internet. But
Well, then start reading it.
my camera's over there.
Oh, hold on, let me get in here. So that's what you're doing, okay. Okay, here,
Got it?
you gotta get to your page.
Okay.
You gotta look yourself up, I didn't do
Oh, I see. Okay, so I thought we were going to have more poets here, so I didn't, and then I also ran out of printing paper, so nothing I can do about that one, but I definitely have lots of poetry. Okay, so this one is called Game Day. Purple eye paint, cut clean till it drips red onto smoke-white carpet of the green room. He double knots dirty laces, bent knee barely kissing earth, and spectacles, testicles, wallet, watch, yes, watch, as he again enters the long shadowed stadium. Is he lion food or tamer? Cheering and jeering of the transient crowd pollutes his waxy ear hairs. He bristles, pulled taut by invisible strings, his eagle eyes front. An old roar rises up from his core as he braces for deja vu shivers and shakes. The heat vomits into his palate, commanding him to speak. And then, all right, so are you guys okay with that kind of spiritual religious one? I always hesitate, but so this is one that actually Ralph and Paula suggested that I write. So it is a long life prayer. So it's not a traditional poet, traditional.
Explain the story, what happened and why you wrote it.
So it's not a traditional poem. Instead, it's actually a very traditional prayer. So what happened was that they were doing a ceremony in honor of his completion of his temple, and as part of that ceremony, the various teachers and monks were doing long life prayers to him, which is their traditional way of honoring his gift, his spirit, and his commitment to his students, and asking him for long life. And so I wrote this long life prayer for Drupal Tinley Ningpo Rinpoche. To you, peerless Vajra Master, who ever link us to the unbroken Drigun Kagyu lineage and unite us with lamas, yidams, and dharma protectors of the 3 times in 10 directions, we pray, with ever-enduring devotion and ocean-deep gratitude. May your body, speech, and mind continue to be a healing balm that transforms all sentient beings with medicines supremely suited for the removal of their unique obscurations. We offer long life prayers to you, Vajra Master. May you continue to turn the wheel of the Dharma until samsara ends. To you, unblemished Rinpoche, who mirrors timeless truth of our own primordially pure Buddha nature, whose word reflects snow-white clarity of our innermost essence, whose thoughts and actions link us to the immutable causes of happiness and equanimity. May you remain an unwavering beacon of wisdom light, ever shimmering, ever dispelling delusions of ignorance and darkness until samsara's end. Did you have another one, Tom?
Oh,
You got time. Jerry Springer. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, Ralph and Paul, I haven't
well,
heard that
there were
yet.
3 verses on Haywood's Bank, and I danced down one of those. Let's see if I can get through this one. This is by Biff Rose from the late 60s. It has the colorful expository title of The Shah's Gold Embroidered, Jeweled Encrusted Psychedelic Pants. The Prime Minister to Persia was a gentleman of France, very much in love with the Shah's embroidered pants that he wore on grand state occasions when he sat upon the throne. The minister often longed to have them for his very own. Oh, I want those pants. Because especially intriguing were the jewels and the laces with which they were embellished in the most strategic places. No scarcity of fabric, no paucity of pleat to disturb the tranquil comfort of the chubby royal seat. In fact, the section in this region was carefully designed for scratching any area the Shah might have in mind. Well, it happened on a Sunday when the Shah was at his prayers. The ladies of the harem all were languishing upstairs. Languish. That the minister, quite ticked off at his ill-conceived desire to add these jeweled trousers to his personal attire, made his hasty preparations to return at once to France, and boldly sought the Shah's boudoir and swiped the jeweled pants. Once within his grasp, he found his happiness complete. He pressed them to his bosom, he kissed the jeweled seat. He fondled every ornament, he petted every gem, he gazed in rapture at each pleat and buttonhole and hem. And finally, taking off his own, he thrust his skinny shanks into trouser legs, each of which was worth 1,000,000 francs. The minister stood staring at the mirror on the wall in bliss. Never had his front, his rear, his shins, his knees known any glory anywhere equivalent to these. And with a moan of sweet content, he stood as if in a trance, stoned on the vibrations from these psychedelic pants. But just then, a lovely haremite, the favorite of the Shah, went slinking through the hallway for her marital pawpaw. And coming to the chambers, she took a hasty glance and detected not the minister, but only jeweled pants. And with her girlish innocence, she murmured, "King of kings, you know I can't resist you when I see you in dim tings." And running, she threw herself with a passionate desire upon those glowing trousers that resembled coals of fire. "Oh, Shah," she finally said at last, "oh, high and mighty Shah, you've certainly improved since last you've been to my boudoir." Then struggling from his fond embrace, although the light was dim, she realized her sad mistake and screamed, "Hey, it ain't him!" Today there sits upon the throne a youth, a handsome teen, about whose features something somewhat reminiscent may be seen. A youth not born of innocence, but neither of romance, but one who owes existence to a pair of jeweled pants. The minister thereafter left his head upon the block. The Shah now keeps his trousers in a strong box under lock, and that favorite of the harem is replete with years and riches, and numbers in her offsprings no other sons of breeches. Biffrose.
Well done.
That was lovely.
Tom, who was the author of that one?
Biffrose.
Okay. I gotta check him out.
Well, in his youth, he was much better. When George Carlin and Biffrose were writing partners for the old Jimmy Dean TV program.
Oh my gosh.
If you want to really
No,
date
I
how old
can't
this
remember
is,
that.
yeah.
Wow.
You're up, Pam.
Well, I don't know. Not finished laughing at that last one
Oh,
yet.
he's so funny.
Okay, this is called Clan of Spirit Talkers. Clan of Spirit Talkers, reach out now. So let me start over. Tom. Okay, Clan of Spirit Talkers. Clan of Spirit Talkers, reach out, find me now. Wearing a cloak of woven grass, I have enough love to become a rainmaker for the living. Where the underling cause of grass multiplying in nature is the same growth bringing light unto the darkest parts of my soul. The image of grass multiplying as each individual root is strengthened and multiplied because other roots are joined to its cause. As light energy, I'm learning how a vast network of communication among us is occurring in our ancestral roots. As I add my energy to yours, you add your energy to mine. This can strengthen our connection throughout the universe and time. when gathering together contains within a great potential to expand even more, achieving greater happiness, which is something that cannot occur until you open the door and go outside. Clan of Spirit Talkers, find me now. As I ride upon the raging winds of change, it ages me to yield in this way each day, yet I can lead my spirit to a creative awakening. A sense of one openness is releasing any tendency to cling to structure and form. It will be necessary to give birth to this new expansion of energy brewing within. Standing in this moment with a sense of openness to what is unfolding, without defending the past, connecting with each sense, each feeling bubbling to my conscious mind, to be plucked from my psyche like an invasive root, laying dormant, waiting for my readiness to surrender to all of life. Am I listening, seeing without judgment? Can I remove the boundaries that separate me from everything around me? Connected by the same thread, roots, veins, and blood. Brothers and sisters, it's time to join hands now. The world has had enough. Find me sitting upon my favorite star. Find me blissfully upon a cloud. All are one, brothers and sisters, hand in hand. Take a bow. Clan of Spirit Talkers, connect with me energetically. Find me now. Find me now.
Nice. Okay, so we've got like 5 minutes.
What? You got no more?
Oh, I can do another one. Let's see, where are we?
I know you got the vault in there.
Yeah. Okay, so where is...
I'm gonna make Tom talk like that lady again.
Oh God, he's so funny. Cracks me up. It's always great to have you here. When we were doing the past couple of weeks, it was just, Pam and I and Ann, and it was good, but that comedy really, it just,
Helps nobody commit
it's
suicide.
magic.
Comedy relief.
Sometimes it's
Yes.
pretty heavy.
It is. It's a magical ad. You were sorely missed.
Yeah.
We'll call it comedy from now on.
That's right.
Oh.
Okay.
That's gonna stick.
So, I don't know.
I'll steal that from you.
For some reason, this one is just coming into my head. So this is actually a piece of flash fiction, so it's not really a poem, but it came into my mind, so I feel like I should read it. Okay, it's called Lies the Buddhas Told Me. It was 1979. Shah. Nikki and I stifled giggles, sharp listening beyond Mama's jade-beaded door while she did readings. Although risky work was work, we'd strain through cold shadows and musky incense to see rich gorgers who'd come to glimpse murky, unknowable futures. Dying, sick, feeble, lonely, hopeless, but wealthy. Mama's readings? If they were young, childless, and healthy, world card. Naked woman dancing with green wreath victorious. You're going to do something big, change the whole world. If middle-aged and had kids, see this Hierophant mid-throne between two pillars, their law and liberty, obedience and disobedience. He wears the triple crown. Those are keys to heaven at his feet. This means you're educating your kid who'll do something big, change the whole world. If old, that old man bearing brown staff in one hand and six-pointed gold star lantern in the other is the hermit. You don't realize, but something you've done has influenced someone big, and it's going to change the whole world. That night, while steamy cooking zagmoka potatoes and bokchara, when I'd ask, Mama would say, Maybe they'll stick when life seems hopeless. Her soft, flowing, print-bloused hand wiping angry sweat from brow. Besides, who says it ain't true? You, Deemy? No, Mama. Midday. He looked like Paul Newman, but grayer, more Wall Street, wore a vertical etched gold wedding ring, so I knew it was going to be the Hierophant and his son that will change the whole world. And it was. 1999. After Mama's funeral, I told her change the world story. Nikki laughed, saying Mama told suckers that so they'd fork out bigger tips. I figured that was it until 2023. Nikki and me were watching Apple News when this Paul Newman guy, obviously his son, is getting some big prize for his suicide book, telling how he couldn't give up because his dad once told him some psychic, and damned if Mama hadn't known all along. That's the story of Esmeralda Kozlov, how she saved lives and changed the whole world, even though you never heard of her. I would have left it there, only the son wrote that book. And it's really Mama's book. So I thought you should read it. It's called Lies the Buddhas Told Me. Yes, it was that book. No, I ain't fibbing. That was the guy's father. Yes, you asked my Aunt Nikki. Okay, that was it. Well, thank you all for coming again.